Hello, I am Stephanie Korn, an instructional tech specialist at East High School, and today we are going to look at the new Jamboard or whiteboard feature that is in Google Meet. So if you're looking for a way to allow your students to collaborate, note take, Jamboard is a great way to do that. If you're also looking for a digital whiteboard in which you can instruct your students, this is this is also a great tool for that as well. So to use Jamboard, you come down to the three dots. Once you click on them, up at the top it says open a jam. Now you have the option. If you've already started creating a jam, maybe you have it set up ahead of time, you can choose from Drive, or you can start a brand new whiteboard. I will start with a brand new whiteboard first. Okay, so as soon as you choose that, notice down here it says creating jam. And if you notice that, it says pop-up blocked. So if I click it, I'm going to tell it to allow pop-ups on Jamboard. So now let's try that again. All right, so now that I checked to make sure to allow pop-ups for Jamboard, the jam is automatically opening for me. Once the jam is opened, what it will do then is it will name your Jamboard, the session date, and the name that you have given your Google Meet. It will also place in the chat a link to your students so that they can access it. All right, and there we go. There is the link. The student can click on the link and it would take them out to the Jamboard. Now, if all you're doing is using Jamboard for just instructional purposes, maybe you are showing them how to do a certain type of math problem or annotating on an image, then your students may not necessarily need to use the link to go out to the jam if all you're doing is sharing your screen. This is good for when your students want to work collaboratively on a jam. Maybe the whole class is working on one jam or you've divided them into groups. So let's take a look at how that can work. So here's my jam down here. And to begin with, let's look at some of the tools here in the toolbar. It has a lot of the typical whiteboard features. So here I have my pen. It gives you different options of the kind of pen, marker, paintbrush that you can use and what color you want to use for your drawing tool. Then you can just draw it on. Let's say you're teaching them how to do a math problem. I'm going to clear my frame. So I say 2x plus 4 equals 6. Then you can go through it, solve the problem for them. Let's say you want to take a note about something. There is a sticky note that you can type on. Don't forget. And click the top circles to change the color. And then click Save. And it saves it as a sticky note in your Jamboard. When you're done, you click Cancel. You can also add an image. So you can add an image of a student work. You could turn a PDF into a JPEG. You can upload it from your device. You can do a Google image search, your Google Drive. So this is a great way to either annotate an image or use an image to illustrate what your students are talking about or illustrate what you are talking about. You can draw shapes. Now here is 2x. Right? You can change the color up here. Right? And then Down here is the laser pointer. This is just a fun little tool that the kids like to play with. You can just circle and then it kind of goes away like a laser pointer does. You actually type on your jam. You click the text box and you type here. Now you can add frames to your jam. This is kind of like a Google Slide idea where you might assign a group or a person a frame, and they may work on their own little frame. And then when they're done, you can come together as a group, discuss them. Now, when you choose to do this, you may on occasion want to, ahead of time, give your students a frame that already has maybe some information on it. Maybe there's a picture on it. Maybe you have just typed in there group 1. Right? And then group 2. Right? And you have this done ahead of time. So what do you do then? Well, let's exit out of our Jamboard. We'll come down and open a jam again. But this time, if you've created it ahead of time, they'll either be right here, the ones that are connected with this particular meet, or choose from your drive. All right, now find the Jamboard you created ahead of time. Click on it. It'll open it for you, and once again, notice it shared the link for the jam. Right, so here's my jam that I created ahead of time. You will notice on certain frames, I put group numbers, so those groups know which frame to go to work on. And once your students are done working on them, maybe you sent them off into breakout rooms, they worked on their particular frame, they could come back in and you could present their frames and show their work to the rest of the class. So there are a couple of ways in which you can use Jamboard right within Google Meet.